Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Keys of the Castle podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel or follow the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That would be really great and awesome. So thanks so much. Don't forget to also check out my other channels, which are Cave and Cognition Daily Vlog on YouTube. Also yet to be launched, but hopefully soon we'll be launching Cave and Cognition Coffee on YouTube, and also the Cave and Cognition music on YouTube. So thanks so much for tuning in. Today I'm going to go ahead and continue talking about our Disneyland Paris review, which I'm really excited about. The first episode was a little bit lackluster, not gonna lie. It was pretty dry. It was mostly just the logistics. So I'll pick things up from kind of where I remember leaving off there, and hopefully get into a little bit more of the exciting stuff. So grab a drink or snack, and let's jump in. And hope you enjoy. So I think where I left off on the previous episode was kind of just the logistics of things, talking about the shuttles from the Apart Hotel Adagio series, Disney Partner Hotel. And so, yeah, we ended up not taking the shuttles too much. From there, I think we took it once, and that was it. Once or twice, I think. After our main park day, we were able to catch the shuttle just in time and take it back to the hotel. So that was awesome. But anyway, I'm not talking about too much of the logistics today. Just wanted to kind of pick up where we left off there. So next morning, wake up in the hotel and kind of, peek and look and see, wait around for a couple minutes to see if the shuttle's coming. Didn't see anything. We were kind of just in the mood to walk anyway. It just seemed more exciting to us. And we hadn't taken the shuttle at that point, so we didn't know if we were going to have to break down the buggy or the stroller if you're American. We weren't sure if we were gonna have to do that to get onto the shuttle because we hadn't got on yet, so we didn't know like the size of it or anything. Turns out we didn't. Later on, it was big enough to just have the baby in the buggy, which was really awesome and great. So either way, we took off. We went. We did the walk in like 10 to 15 minutes. Usually, because there's a walking option. If you don't already know this, there's a walking option on Apple Maps. I'm sure it's on Google Maps as well, but I use Apple Maps, and there's an option on there. There's also an option that you can toggle for public transport, which is super helpful. But either way, anytime I see something on the walking, or like if I do the public transportation, um, route on Apple Maps, and it tells me like 5-minute walk from this train stop to that train stop or whatever, I usually kind of add another 5 minutes to that because I just tend to walk slower for some reason. But this one actually seems shorter. Like the first night, we like really booked it, and we walked as quickly as we can because we were so tired on the day we arrived to Paris. So we did the walk in like 10 minutes. That was from Disney to the hotel. And then I think that morning it was like probably like 12 minutes or something, 12 to 15 minutes. So I think on Apple Maps, it says like 15-20 minutes. So that's what I expected. I expected the walk to be like, 15, 20, 25 minutes even. But it wasn't. And it's not too bad. I don't know, I don't know the area well, so I can't say, it's a super safe area or not or whatever. But yeah, I think I saw a police station right there. But anyway, don't go by what I'm saying. We are crazy people and we love walking, and so we took the risk and we did it, and stuff like that. Actually, really quick crazy story is that on the way walking to the park, it was just totally random. One of those weird, like, it makes you start thinking of the whole like butterfly effect theory. Super random and off topic, but hopefully, I don't know, a interesting story. So I had like bent down to tie my shoe when we were approaching one of the crosswalks It's like the main road going from our hotel to Disneyland. It's like the one uh road or street that's like a main road. There's no lights, there's no stoplights though, it's just stop signs. And so before we got there, I bent down to tie my shoe because it got untied, and there were these people behind us, and so they just walked around us. And it was a man and a woman, and they had a toddler or a baby in like a stroller or buggy or whatever. So they went ahead of us, and they started going out onto the crosswalk, and this car just totally like did not stop at all whatsoever for the crosswalk. Now I don't know if there's a stop sign there, so be very careful if you're taking this route walking. Um, so yeah, just a safety disclaimer here, but I don't think there's actually a stop sign for the direction this car was coming, but there is a crosswalk. But I don't know the rules for France in terms of crosswalks. Like, what are like, do you have to stop if you're driving like before the people get onto the crosswalk, or do you? I mean, I'm sure obviously I would imagine that you would have to wait um and not drive through the crosswalk while somebody's walking through it. But either way, this car just came pretty much flying in at the same time that these people were stepping out onto the street, onto the crosswalk. I didn't think they were doing anything wrong, but they didn't seem to be looking the correct direction. So it was the man that was kind of leading the way, and he was looking to the right. The car was coming from the left. I mean, the car was absolutely flying, and he wasn't stopping. I think originally the guy looked to the left first, and so that car was probably not even in the intersection yet, because we were on kind of like the far side of the intersection from this specific car, if that makes sense. Um, so he probably looked that way and was like, okay, cool, that car is, far enough and they're going to stop at the intersection. Looked right, and there was nobody coming from the right. So he's stepping out, still looking right, and this car is coming and flying from the left. Like, from the angle that we were at, it looked like the stroller was about to be like hit really, really badly. So like I screamed out to them, and they both like pulled the stroller back, and it was kind of intense, not gonna lie. And we were all walking to Disneyland, and they were French, so we didn't understand each other or couldn't talk or anything, but they kept thanking me, and they were saying thank you like 3 or 4 times throughout the walk. So pretty intense. So just be safe out there if you are walking, and just a safety disclaimer. And yeah, that was a pretty crazy way to start our morning. And to be honest, it was a pretty crazy rest of the day. Um, so let's get into the fun stuff. Hopefully I don't waste too much time on the logistics and stuff. But just a quick overview without having to spoil anything. Disneyland Paris is a super cool and beautiful park. We did both parks. So the Walt Disney Studio Park, it's pretty small. Like it's very small, I would say, compared to even Disneyland California Adventure. I would say it's like, I don't even know if it's half the size. Maybe it is. But it is really small. And unfortunately, the time that we went, so many of the areas of the park were under construction on both sides. Probably hence why the prices were kind of low. So we kind of knew we kind of knew and expected this going in. But yeah, so the whole I forget what it's called, but the front building entrance into the Walt Disney Studios park was closed when we got in there. So it was just that little tiny walkway around the left side when you first walk in. Um, One of the coolest parts, I don't know if I said this on the last video, but one of the coolest parts in the Disney Village, which is their downtown Disney, or like Disney Springs. I think it's smaller than downtown Disney in California, so pretty small. But one of the coolest things is that there's like, I think I counted like 4 or 5 Disney stores. There was like, World of Disney and or something like that, and then there was like Home Decor Disney, and then there was like all these different versions of Disney store. It was so cool. I wish we had so much time, which is kind of my first tip and observation is like definitely book as much time as possible, as many days as possible. It's like, depending on your wants and who's in your group, and if you guys are looking for different things, different rides, everybody wants different, you know, if everybody wants different rides or shows or attractions or whatever, um, or if you have like babies or different age children or whatever, like all those are factors, but like, definitely give yourself as much time as, um, possible, as many days as possible, especially given, um, having like, limiting, time variant factors, I should say, of like different wants or needs or what have you. I mean, if you're a single person, or like a couple with no kids or something like that, a friend who could just fly through the park, yeah, I could totally see how you can, do a lot of like stuff and most of like the popular stuff in one day, probably depending on, the busyness, or if you buy the fast passes and stuff. So yeah, but either way, it's just, you always want more time. I think I wasn't expecting that because I had been to Disneyland California so many times. So it's like, I know how to get through the park super quickly. I know all the hacks, all the tips and tracks, all the tips and tricks, I feel like. And like, I've seen so much of that property. So, um, I think in my head, I was like, oh yeah, we're kind of experts or experienced, I guess you could say. And, I had done enough study on everything to like feel pretty confident with getting a lot of things done. And I am happy with everything we did. We got pretty much all of the main stuff that we wanted to do, with the exception of one thing that I was just ignorant about, I guess, until later. But um, either way, yeah, it's definitely possible to do a lot, and especially if you throw in the factor of like the fast pass type of thing. I think it's called like express lane, or I don't remember what it's called, but um, especially if you throw that. Oh, I think it's called Premier Access. So especially if you throw that in, but definitely, I would definitely say as much time and as many days as possible, to experience the Disney Village, which again is like the downtown area, and then also just the different aspects of the park. I also did not realize that Disneyland Paris, and sorry for the sniffles, I'm just getting over something. Um, Disneyland Paris is like the is like a huge Disney park, like in terms of like acreage. So it's bigger than Disneyland California, I think, and then bigger than the Magic Kingdom in Disney World, which I was like completely shocked about. I don't think I knew that until I was like there. But man, that thing is huge. Like, how do you get lost in Fantasyland? 3 times. Like, I literally got lost in Fantasyland like 3 times, which makes no sense. You could literally, like, as soon as you walk into Fantasyland in California, like, you can see all of the exits of Fantasyland. It was really, really cool. I mean, in a sense, that's another reason why you should get as much time and as many days as possible at the Disneyland Paris Resort, is because, like, if you make a wrong turn, or like you're not used to the layout of the park, which I definitely wasn't, or you just, depending on if you want to hit, certain rides or whatever, like it can take, or at least for me personally, it felt like it took forever to get from one side of the park. And it's like, I enjoy jumping around a lot. Like, we do that a lot in California, of like, oh, let's go from Tomorrowland to um, you know, Frontierland to Adventureland, back to Fantasyland or whatever. Like, um, kind of hard there. And also, I was so lost when it came to Adventureland and Frontierland. Like, I couldn't get I was literally, even looking at the map, it was just so confusing. Um, and even with like the navigation on, where like, the GPS is on and it's tracking you with like the blue dot, and you can see where you're at, like that was kind of like lagging for us. So we spent a lot of time like just trying to get um you know find our direction and stuff like that. So um it was an amazing park. My mind was blown in so many ways. um and at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, there is an aspect of this trip, I'm just gonna say it flat out, there is an aspect of this trip, especially for me personally, that was kind of like the trip from hell. And I'll get into that probably on maybe on the next episode, as time is winding down here. But yeah, that's definitely one of my biggest tips is like get as much time as you can because I wish we would have been able to do. I mean, and again, I'm happy with the trip. It was exactly what we needed for the time. But it would have been cool to get to go to brunch in the Disney Village. There's a brunch place that starts with an N. I'll look it up right now. Disneyland Paris Village. But I would have loved to do that. I would have loved to browse the stores in the village and also the stores in the parks. Oh my gosh, that is the next biggest thing. I had heard Provo's Park Pass say this on a previous video, I think when they were in Disneyland Paris sometime last year in 2024. Oh my flipping goodness gracious. In my personal opinion, the merch at Disneyland Paris is so sick. It is so sick. Like, we didn't really buy anything because we were just flying through the parks and we were on a budget, I'm not gonna lie. And again, this is kind of like our home park now that we live in Ireland. So like yeah, we were kind of treating it as that. We weren't really on a vacation. It was kind of more like we were visiting a local park. Like we literally just had like flight credit from like a couple years ago, and just last minute we were like on the same day I was like, let's book a trip to Disneyland Paris, and my wife was like, yeah, sure. I don't think she thought I was serious, and then boom, like I booked everything that night, like travel insurance, park tickets, hotel, everything. But anyway, the merch, so sick. It's just, I think to me personally, a lot of times what makes merch so special is like the classic feel of things and just keeping it simple and classic Disney feeling and looking. But there was such good stuff. Like, I don't know why one of the things that pops out to me, this is kind of more of like a specialty item, but there was like a figurine of one of the pirate animatronics. Just that is like, that's kind of off the wall, but even just this stuff like the t-shirts and just normal stuff, so cool. So that's one thing I wanted to say. Oh, let me find out if I could find. Oh, it didn't start with an N. I think I was thinking of the a place in downtown Disney. I think it's Brasserie Rosalie. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Probably not, but wanted to try that place for brunch. I think they do French food. I can't review it because we didn't go. So yeah, really cool park though in so many ways. A lot of one of the things that confused me is like I don't know what it's called, but that specific style of look of like Disney characters or Mickey and Minnie. Um, if you look up or see like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, like in the actual ride, I felt like there's a lot of stuff. I don't know if it's like it sort of reminds me of like the Nuimo type of, those type of stuffed dolls or whatever, that type of toy. Like, kind of reminds me of that vibe. But I feel like Disneyland in California, like a lot of the stuff is in that style now. I'm not sure what that is, if it's demand or just like the type of vibe they're trying to shift things toward. I was kind of shocked even with the Mickey and Minnie's ride itself and like the way it looked in terms of like that version of Mickey and Minnie. But I feel bad saying this, but I was happy to not see any of that in Disneyland Paris. Like it just felt like true, pure, classic, genuine, authentic Disney. And even like, so there was like some scrim walls that were up over Thunder Mountain. Super sad Thunder Mountain was closed. But it was under construction. I'm not sure if it is still, but there's like some scrim up and it's like some graphics on it, some art with Mickey Mouse on a horse in like cowboy frontier theme, and it was just so cool. I was like, Disneyland would never have this, I feel like. It would either be plain or just kind of like, maybe I'm wrong. I'm remembering it wrong. Maybe it's been a while since it's been a couple years since I've lived here now. So, haven't lived in California. So maybe correct me if I'm wrong or something, in the comments. But, yeah, I feel like it would either be like a general theme and it would just be like, maybe some stars across the, scrim or just a plain color. Like, I don't know. It was just really cool to see like that classic Disney feel all across the park. So the merch was really, really cool. So I do want to shout that out. Um, and yeah, I guess that's kind of a general overview of kind of a little bit of our experience there. Was just that it's a big park, it's a beautiful park. We wish we had more time. We loved it, we enjoyed it. We only had a day to do park hopper tickets. There was me, my wife, and my daughter, and so we all kind of had different needs and different things. But why don't I share the rides that we went on? Um, just to, I don't know, just I feel like that would be a fun way to kind of end the episode here. Um, so from what I remember, the rides that we went on were Peter Pan. It's kind of somewhat our tradition to do that ride first. We may not keep that tradition going forward, but um, Peter Pan, which was, man, that was just such a cool ride. We all love that ride. That's one of my favorite rides in Disneyland, California. I know it's kind of a what's it called, controversial subject where people either love it or hate it. Most people hate it because of the logistics of it, of like, you wait an hour or so for a 30-second ride. That's like really old school. Um, but then there's the people that love it who are like, no, this is like the pure essence of classic Disney, which that's kind of me. There's also the nostalgia tied to it. So the Peter Pan there was just so awesome. I mean, we were a little bit wrecked from the wait time. I'm not gonna lie. The posted wait time was like 20 or 30 minutes. We had our, like, she wasn't even two yet, and the wait time ended up being like an hour and a half. And so that was brutal. That was another little bit of a trend. I'm not gonna lie, with Disneyland Paris, some of the wait times were um higher than we expected. Some of them were, similar or even like a minute or two shorter, but there was definitely a couple of them that ended up being like definitely longer. So anyway, Peter Pan. The next one we went on was Pirates. I actually put out an entire episode on Pirates already, and then I took it down. I just wasn't happy with it, so maybe I'll do that again. Pirates was awesome. It's kind of, I feel like everything in, not everything, but I feel like a lot of stuff in Disneyland Paris, it's kind of like a more intensified version of the Disney stuff. I think that's just probably a little bit more, um, you know, playing to the culture and what people like out here. Um, I don't know if theme parks are quite as big and enjoyable. Um, Out here. I mean, they probably are, but I mean, like, there's definitely a demand for like intensity and roller coasters and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I think there's just a subset or something of culture out here that is just more like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but either way, um, you know, what I'm talking about though is like the Haunted Mansion is, that's stepped up a notch in terms of scariness, from what I know. Of course, I didn't actually go on it, but Pirates, I would say, is similar. Definitely, Space Mountain is like 10x intensified of Disney's Space Mountain in California. So Peter Pan, Pirates of the Caribbean. I think the next one we went on after that, I think I actually did get on Space Mountain after that, and that was Single Rider. Um, and then there was a music festival going on, so my wife and daughter got to see a performance from Daisy and Donald Duck. And there was musical performances all day. And then we all did the teacups together. We met up and did the teacups together after I was done with Space Mountain, which was, by the way, the best roller coaster I have ever been on in my entire life. Um, let's see. And then we I think we were going to do the storybook canal rides, but again, we were just so confused because like a couple of things. I think that ride specifically is the name is in French, and then Fantasyland is kind of big, so we were like, wait, are we in Casey Jr. or? And then we ended up bailing. We didn't go on it, and we wanted to make sure we went to see the Moana musical performance because my wife and daughter, their absolute favorite character is Moana, and my daughter especially is obsessed with music and the Moana songs. So we went there, even though there were several performances throughout the day. It made sense for us to just go there, and then after that head to Walt Disney Studios. So we did that. We stopped for some ice cream in Adventureland. I don't remember the name. Let me see. I'll just find it right now. But it was like Captain something or other. But we had just stopped for like a snack, so we had like I think like coffee and some Mickey ice cream bars and stuff like that. I'll look it up right now. Captain, was it Captain? No, it wasn't Captain Jack's. Let's see. I'm not seeing it. Oh yeah, Colonel Hattie's. No, maybe not. Either way, we went to a little place in. Oh yeah, this is it. Sorry, Colonel Hattie's Pizza Outpost. I actually didn't know it was even a pizza place. That's really cool. We just stopped for some snacks there. Then we went to Walt Disney Studios. We got on Ratatouille, which was awesome. I think that was my daughter and I's favorite ride experience there. And then I think after that, my daughter went for a nap, I think. And then while she was napping, my wife got on Spider-Man. I did not get on that ride. And then I think we swapped out and I went on Hollywood Tower of Terror. My wife and daughter at some point got on the Cars ride. So not the road trip, but the other one. I think it's like Cars Spin or something like that. Don't remember, but they got on that ride. I don't remember if they liked it or not, but they got on that one. I didn't get their review on that one. I'll have to get an update, but went on Tower of Terror. And then I think after that, the only other ride we got on was, I want to say, It's a Small World. Yeah, because we went back to Disneyland Park and we watched the parade. It was like the evening time parade, and then we got dinner from, I think it was Casey's Corner. And then after that, we went to It's a Small World. That was incredible. That was where we ended the night. That was our last ride. That was incredible. Like we all really, really loved that. I guess, I guess I'll save, the reason why it was the trip from hell, basically for me. I'll save that until the next episode. I'll leave that as a little bit of a cliffhanger for the next review, Disneyland Paris part 3. But we loved It's a Small World. My daughter was just mind blown. Like she absolutely loved it. At the end of the ride, I think she was trying to remember the song, but she started singing a different song. I think she started singing like Jesus Loves Me or something like that after after the It's a Small World, but she really loved it. Even today, literally just this morning, she was asking me for that ride. She actually calls it America because we were like excited that there was like an America portion in their version of It's a Small World. So every time that ride comes on, we're like, oh look, it's America, it's America. So she now calls that ride America. She's like, Dad, can we watch a Mexica or something? However she says it, America. It's very cute. But so we went on that ride. We were so just tired after that. That's kind of where we called it a day and went back to the hotel. But it was an incredible day overall. It was such an amazing and mind-blowing experience for me to finally get to experience another Disney park, other than my home park in California. So it just even still till to this day, like it just doesn't feel real. But it's so cool to be able to get to say that we did that. Um, I don't remember if I did news updates for now. I'm just gonna skip that. I think that's gonna do it for this one. But thanks so much. And please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel or follow if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, or wherever you're listening. Feel free to like, comment, share, all the good stuff. And finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Take care.